Hello, Jasmine.
Hi, Emily.
What we thought is you and I end up having some really cool conversations on a day to day basis, but most other people actually don't get to hear our cool conversations. And the reason that I've called this real estate is because that's kind of the intention to discuss reality that's out there, to talk about how it is in the market, how agents are finding things, what splits and opportunities are out there, what the norms are, and what's sort of new and upcoming, what's fresh.
Yeah.
So, what were we? Refresh my memory. What were we talking about earlier?
We were just having a catch up about, the current reality for most agents here in New Zealand.
Yeah.
And you were alluding to a time when you had just started real estate and you were a solo single mum.
That's right.
Yeah.
And I was talking about the fact that Christmas is obviously here. That's a tough time of year for a lot of people, and we actually forget that
Yeah.
ourselves going into our niceties, our families, our making memories. We forget actually that it's not an amazing time of year for absolutely everybody. But there's actually, and I was alluding to, a lot of really good friends that I personally have in the industry that are single mums. And that have kids over that period. And one of them was talking about it on Facebook. And I had actually been talking to another real wonderful real estate agents, by the way, but the challenges that they face. And I remember going through that as a young single mum who was in real estate in the industry. And I absolutely remember being told certain things and really having that sense of not fitting in and being told actually that I didn't. And you said it yourself the other day, didn't you? That's why we were talking about it. That it's almost like you're not allowed to do real estate if if you want to have
You're a
be a
mum?
excuse me.
Yeah.
And I'll go on record and say, and I think I brought up the Simon Sinek quote the other day with you, but I'll go ahead and say that if you look at some of the top real estate agents across the board, across Australia and New Zealand, a lot of them are female.
Yeah. Yeah.
And that's not by chance. And then I do want to bring this up. I know it's a bit naughty, but I'm going to. Simon Sinek the other day, and I actually used this quote with you. And I was talking to somebody else about it too, and they found it really powerful, and just had a bit of an aha moment. And it was that, and Simon said this, these are not my words. He said, women make better CEOs and or leaders. And the reason for that is because women inherently understand that it's about how people feel, and therefore they really look after that space. Whereas sometimes men have to learn that, and
Yeah.
it's not a teaching for us.
Yeah. It's not something we have to learn because innately we've got a lot of other people that we have to take care of in any given day and any given moment.
We're always in service. So
Yeah,
it's just another part of our service, right?
right.
Service isn't something we have to really necessarily learn. As little girls, we're almost in service, but the two go hand in hand, actually. Really, when you look at things, both as a leader or as a leader in your own real estate business, right? Whether you're simply a female in business, in real estate, whether or not you're in that leadership space, how we leave people feeling they will always remember they won't always necessarily remember exactly what we've said. And again, coming back to that sort of not fitting in, have you not been told things in the past? Because I certainly have. I actually remember a director here in Australia telling me when I was, I think, about 28, 29, Emily, you should just get a divorce because all the good real estate agents are divorced anyway. It'll happen eventually if you want to do good at this business.
It's an absolute shocker, isn't it?
But I have to get a divorce in order to just do real estate. And like that insinuated to me that if I wanted to do real estate, I wasn't able to have a life.
Mm.
Whereas you and I have both created something vastly different from that.
Yeah, we have.
And I'm always referring back to, I've got a really fantastic friend who always talks about looking after your big rock. And that comes back to really what you value and what's really important in life. And for me, my whole business is created to look after that family because without them, nothing else exists.
Well, you work for your family.
Right. And this is a great moment for this quote. My son, who's now 19, when he was 16, we were on the way home from a real estate appointment together that he'd come with me to. He always used to come to real estate appointments, even as a 2 and 3 year old. I swear he can do real estate already. He just hasn't done the license yet. But he said, Mum, please don't get so busy making a living that you forget to live.
Whoa. Whoa.
And that was a real moment for me because
Yeah.
I had up until that point just really believed and been told and taught that of course you work 16-hour days. Of course you're still at the office at 7 o'clock at night instead of being at home saying goodnight to your children and reading them stories and, or having a cup of tea or a glass of wine with your partner or your husband or your wife. Like, of course you do. And it wasn't until that moment was a real, I guess, game changer for me. It was the moment that I reevaluated. It was the moment that things really, really changed. Really, really changed. And I decided what I wanted to leave behind,
Yeah.
what I was worth,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Because I think that's a big thing at the moment in the industry too. I see a lot of people out there charging really little, particularly for the experience that they might have. Because for me, you're not paying me for the time that your property is on the market. You're paying me for the 17 years of experience that I
Yeah.
have, because that makes the difference, particularly right now in the market and the way that the markets are, because houses are not selling themselves.
Yeah.
They're just not. So yeah, I reevaluated, and I now get told by other agents, I get told that's too much to charge, and I get asked by others, how do you do that?
Yeah.
And it was really just someone who is a female in real estate, and she is phenomenal. Her name's Felicity Harden. Look her up. And I actually owe it to her, so I've got to name drop her into this meeting. She just, I asked her, why you can't charge that? Because she charges the highest amount of GCI per agent across our whole group here at
Wow.
EXP.
Yeah.
So Felicity Harden Property. And she just said, why do you believe that you're not worth that? Another moment.
Another moment.
And so for me now, I'm very comfortable with the fact that I choose who I want to work with. I have a fee for my service. If people don't want to pay that fee for service, we don't choose each other. We don't partner together.
Yeah.
And for me, what's the draw away from my family and my return on life?
Your return on life.
Not my return on investment, my return on life.
Yeah.
What's your return on life been? Because you've made some business changes in the past sort of 18 months.
Yeah, I have.
What's your return on life?
Well, I've taken ownership of my own returns. So in the past, I have worked under a franchise model.
Yeah.
And I no longer do that. I work under a cloud brokerage model. And I actually own that business. And it has a real family first feel. Because we all work together, there is no competition. So I'm no longer constricted by the business. I no longer have any geographical boundaries. I can sell real estate anywhere I want to. Yeah, I've made some big, big shifts in the last 18 months. It's been
I don't
a
even
big
think
road.
you realize quite the big shifts that you have made.
Yeah.
I want to go back to a couple of things that you dropped were like mic drop moments for me in there. The one thing was talking about ownership. Now, you and I spoke about this, I think, either late last week or earlier this week, in regards to the fact that many real estate agents think that they own and run their own business.
Yeah. No, they don't. No, they don't. And the really, really sad thing is that they think they do.
It's a lot of people have had to learn that the hard way, I guess.
So they think that because they go out and they do the business, they bring in the business, they do everything, but they also give away at least half of what they make.
Yes.
It doesn't matter how you look at it. They go giving away at least half of what they make. Whether they are a really high performer and they have been tricked into ownership or part ownership of something that's intangible. You can't actually sell your little slice of your franchise that you've been gifted, given, or had the ability to buy into. What is
No.
it worth? It's not worth anything. You can't
Yeah, own
push
it.
the button
And in fact,
and sell it.
you don't own the data. You don't own the sales
You
that
don't
have
know
been made. The
anything.
moment you choose something new or choose yourself,
Yeah,
it's all gone.
it's all gone, pluff in an instant.
And what happens if you chose that? If you chose to not be partnered with EXP, tomorrow you could choose that and it's all yours. Not that you would, but it's all yours. You
It's all
really
mine.
do own the business. Most people don't even own their data. They don't own their solds. They don't own their current listings. They don't own the people that they have formed relationships with over long periods of time.
Well, even their staff, they don't own their staff. They've got no relationship with them. They're all paid employees, and they are all part of the wider business.
Yeah. Yeah.
I
I actually
mean,
had somebody tell me they wrote about $2 to $3 million in GCI commission per annum.
yeah,
You know, they wrote a lot of GCI. And I said, yeah, but I know in this brand you give away 50%, right? And you might get a little bit more, but there's still like an 8% franchise fee on top of that. But they pay for 2 full-time PAs for me.
They pay.
So
They
the office
pay
pays
out of the 50% that you have just given them. So what is your return? What is your return on that
I'm like,
50%?
so they must be amazing PAs if like they're worth like seven
Half.
per
Yeah.
annum, right?
Yeah.
Each.
Yeah. Incredible. Gee whiz.
You know, it's a very expensive PA. I could have an entire team of PAs for that same
There are
price.
just so many myths. There are just so many myths, within the old way of doing business. And I talk about the old way because, I'm aligned with a North American style of business, and it's really common there.
Yeah.
Um,
Do you
and it
think
has,
people are scared at the new? Because, I mean, both countries, if you look at Australia, if you look at New Zealand, both countries in some capacity have that sort of pushback to what's new and what's already happening. Like we're really seeing a movement happening at the moment. It's not a shift, it's not a change, it's a movement. You look at some brands that are out there, like EXP, for instance, is going to be in 27 countries very soon, currently in 24, and heading towards 90,000 agents across the globe.
It's incredible. There's 90,000 partnerships. The thing that I love about EXP is that it is a partnership. We all own EXP. It is subscription based, so you pay your monthly subscription. I'm not giving half of my income, or never am I ever giving half of my income away ever again.
Never, ever, ever,
Never,
ever,
ever.
ever. It's not even when I
No,
get a call now. Oh, look, I don't want to waste your time. I'm not doing it ever again. The other thing that I caught myself saying again this morning, because somebody was talking about collaboration, and this was another one of your mic drops earlier. You spoke about collaboration. 40%, 40% of all the business I do comes from inside my partnership with EXP. So I've got my own brand, like you do, partnered, powered by EXP. 40% of my business is coming from that collaboration inside of that space.
it's incredible because we all win. We all own EXP, so we all win. At the end of the day, we are all just winners. If every agent in New Zealand, every salesperson was partnered with EXP, we would all be winning.
You know what the cool thing is, and I do have to bring this up though, because it's New Zealand. There are some really big, powerful brands in New Zealand, but there are some really hard and fast, I guess, rules that they have too in terms of collaboration. Now, if I don't necessarily stand to win from collaborating with you, or perhaps there's a reason why I don't want to collaborate with you, I don't have to. And I like that choice. Now, at other businesses, and certainly I've been at some of them too in the past, because I've been in real estate for 17 years, that choice was removed, much like the geographical choice. And those were two things that I didn't like. I don't like being forced to collaborate if there's no need to collaborate. Where I need to, where I want to, where it's going to be great for my client, though, why wouldn't I?
Or even ownership. So there's a false sense of ownership in owning a client, for
Yeah, I
instance,
get to
a relationship.
choose. It's not, yes,
Don't
that's
own
boom.
people.
You
They
own
have
the
the choice.
client. That's it. Boom. Mic drop. You own the client. It's not the brand behind you that owns the client.
You've
You
got the
do.
relationship. It's yours.
Yes. Yes.
And
That's
you
it.
partner with people. It's all about partnership. It's all about joint effort and collaboration and getting a result for everyone.
You know the other cool thing, and I'm a little bit of a service person, you know that.
Yes.
Like I'm a little bit of a people pleaser. I love everybody. I love that this is flipped. And I kind of have always felt like it wasn't quite right in the old, like in that old fashioned space.
Hmm.
They've flipped it to where corporate is in service of the agent, and the agent becomes corporate EXP's client so that the agent can look after their client.
Well, that's right. That's right. We own EXP.
We are
We
EXP.
are EXP.
EXP is us.
Yeah. You know, you and I were both in Miami recently at
Ah,
our EXP conference, which was incredible. And
it still gives me tingles when you talk about it. I'm like,
I know, like the
yeah,
people that you meet, and it's an open, everything is open, nothing is closed. All doors are open. Everyone is ready to collaborate with you. Everybody wants to see you succeed. So all doors are open. You couldn't you couldn't go and sit, you couldn't pick up the phone and phone a somebody in, you know, in a family that owns a real estate franchise, for instance. You know, they're just off limits. You just you know, you've got 10 different gatekeepers to get through.
yeah,
But you can actually walk into, you know, another amazing thing that we have, you know, we've got our own metaverse. You can walk into our world and you can walk and talk with the founder,
yeah,
and you can have an honest and candid conversation.
yeah.
And
In
there's no
fact, you were in a
hierarchy.
meeting just this morning with the international head of expansion and growth, chatting real estate.
Chatting, you know, getting stuff done because we're all in service of each other. Because if EXP does well, we all do well.
Yeah,
Yep.
you win, I win. If we all win together,
We all
and
win
that's
together.
the missing. I feel like that's kind of always been the missing piece. We all win together.
We win together because there's nothing together about a hierarchy. There's nothing together about a traditional real estate office in New Zealand
No.
because the founder, the owners, business owners, franchise owners, the top performers, they all win.
Yep.
But you know, Joe Bloggs, who's just doing
Oh,
the Chance Robbins in the world, they never win.
remember those guys that always used to get all the sales leads because
All
they
the
were
leads, they get everything.
stars. Yeah,
Yep, the show ponies, the showboats, you know,
yeah.
people put them on a pedestal because, you know, we have to be seen to be doing well. So let's, you know, have our top 10 moments and always have the same people in the top 10 every month.
And there you go with another mic drop. You actually just did a Tom Panos mic drop there. You know, to appear like you're doing well.
Oh,
And one
that's all
of
it
his
is.
famous quotes is
Yeah,
what? It's not about what you make, but what you keep.
that's it.
So we actually have a cap, and we haven't even spoken about that.
I know. Do we need to? Very simply, the most money I will ever pay EXP in a calendar year is $37,000. End of story.
And you've got a really cool, I think, spreadsheet, or you've done some figures, right? And we don't want to talk about other brands and bring any other brands up. We'll just say, in the difference from coming from a old-fashioned brand into
Yes.
this new space, based on your last year's figures that you did, how much more would you have kept in your back pocket?
Hundreds of thousands of dollars, Emily. Hundreds of thousands of dollars.
It's hard to think back now that
You just can't even.
in real estate, how much we've paid. Hey,
Oh my goodness. So I no longer live in a scarcity mindset. I live in a mindset of abundance because I'm no longer scared of not having income because I'm supported. I have all the corporate transactional support, all of the compliance support, all of the real estate authority support. I have support, legal support, everything. I have all of that. I have all of that support. I have my own business. I have my own autonomy. I write
Your own brand.
my own brand. I write my own paychecks. I charge my own commission. I don't have to call someone and say, can I drop the commission by $2,000?
Do you remember having to do that?
Oh, begging for it. Begging for it. Come on, it's a deal. Let's get it done. It's
I run my
$2,000
own
at the end of the day.
Hold on, let me call the boss and make sure I'm allowed to give you $500 off. So embarrassing.
Please. And these people think that they still have their own business.
It's not even funny because I
Sad.
look back now at what we've paid and I look at all the people who could, look at the market in New Zealand at the moment, and I know that it's easing, right, which is fantastic. But there's
It's
a lot
bloody hard out there. It is
could do
bloody
with a lot
hard.
more money.
Yeah, it is hard. Days
I
on
feel
market
bad.
are pushed out. Your days between your paychecks are longer and longer. You need all the money you can get, and you're doing all the hard work. What is the return that you are getting on all of that money that you're giving to your franchise? What is the return?
I feel bad. I kind of feel like
How is that
we have the
investment
key.
working for you? How is that investment working for you?
We have the key, for a 25 to 50% pay rise for you in 2025. And how are we going to let them know that? Choose yourself, have your own business, have your own brand, have a pay rise.
And the thing is, you don't even need to have your own brand. You can come into established brands within EXP. So, for instance, you can come into JHC. And there are other brands that you can come into in EXP. You don't have to come in and, figure your own things out. And look, you can even come into, like, for instance, let's just talk about JHC because it's my brand and I can talk to it. You can even come into JHC and figure it all out.
Are you going to steal my money if I do that, though?
No, I don't want any of your money. You keep all your money. You get to use all of my collateral, all of my branding, everything until you are ready to go out on your own. And there is no pressure to do that. You can do that whenever you want.
I'm going to do a you on you now.
Are you?
Yeah.
You're frightened.
If I'm someone looking at this right now, I'm going to do a Jasmine and go, that's not a thing. None of this is a thing. That's way too good to be true.
Yeah, it's a thing. It's absolutely a thing. And there are, other than, taking home, at least 75% of the commission that you bring in, at least. Yes. You've got the opportunity to bring in 100%. You've got the opportunity to earn income in other ways as well. You've got tons and tons of different ways you can grow. You can, take on leadership roles within EXP. You can.
What if I'm already a team? Like, what if I was an office owner? I'm finding it really hard. I've got like anywhere from 5 to could even have up to 100. I could have a few offices. Things are rough. Behind in the bills. I don't know what I'm going to do. I know I need to make a change.
Oh my God, I really feel for people that are in that position, and I know that there are a few, and it's.
But does EXP cater? Can I call you and have a conversation if I'm that
100%? Imagine not having all of the burdens of a CRM, insurance, all the burdens of keeping a license and having a trust and all those sorts of things. all of that, everything to do with the transaction and transacting in real estate is an EXP cost. So EXP takes all of that and looks after all of that for you. Essentially, all you have to do is lead and develop your team. That is it. You can 100% bring your team across to EXP, and we've got teams transitioning across now, which is incredible. Like, why wouldn't you?
I guess one last thing, and it's really like, because I'm just putting myself in. I'm listening to you. I don't believe you. I might reach out to you, but I'm still not sure I believe it. And I'm just thinking, are you sure? But so I get my subscriptions. There's a cap. There's all these different ways of making money. I can do this
Cap.
as
So
an
cap is,
individual
yeah.
agent.
So cap is something that's quite foreign. That language is quite foreign in New Zealand. So I would say that New Zealand is probably about 30 years behind North America when it comes to the way we do business.
Because I'm half Kiwi, half Australian now. What do us Kiwis understand? An all-in cost?
So Kiwi agents understand that there is a cost to do business, and at the moment they're paying premium to do business, absolute premium. And what are they getting for that? They are probably still having to pay. There will be costs on top of the 8% franchise fee or whatever it is that they're paying, on top of giving away this split, for instance.
Those hidden costs.
All those hidden costs. So the previous company that I used to work with, we had things like consumables, which was your printing and stuff like that. Everything that we do is electronic. There are no costs. EXP carries a cost to do business. For me, my costs are things like my website and advertising, just general advertising. So all the costs that I would normally actually have, but I can run my own brand powered by EXP. So my costs are very little. Actually, my accountant has said to me, Jazz, you need some more costs. Wow, what a fantastic place to be in. I'm actually paying GST. The stuff that I can write off is getting less and less. I'm making more and more money. So
people can fall under the EXP realty banner though too, can't they? Like if they're an individual agent.
I could be Jazz Roland and just be, EXP Realty New Zealand.
I can do that too. Easy. I mean, sky's the limit. Choice is where it's at. And the cool thing is that actually here you own your business. There's a way that you can create an empire so that eventually you can actually retire. Our founder has a famous, well, we call it famous here, famous saying of, do you own the business or does the business own you?
Yeah.
And what do you mean?
I've said that before.
Yeah. What do you mean?
We've got ways of making money while we sleep. We've got, we are, and the other ways that we can make money within EXP. It's all about money, isn't it? There are ways that we can expand our wealth, I should say, and create opportunities of multi-generational wealth and income.
Well, it is wealth expansion because, I remember sitting with somebody who had earned $1 million year on year. He had been with his current business for 10 years. So he had paid a lot of money. He was taking home anywhere from $350,000 to $400,000 a year out of that $1 million. And then they had the audacity to ask him to buy in at $1.2 million, which is where he eventually walked and opened up independently, wasn't oozing all those costs anymore. But my question, where it really got him, where he and his wife both sat back in their chairs, was, okay, if you had have kept, $950 plus year in, year out of that money, what would you have done with it? Now, there's where a lot of they said they would have owned 10 more houses. He would have had a hobby car. They would have actually gone on that really long holiday overseas.
That's the return on life.
The return on life.
And also the great thing, you just did, that's another wee mic drop moment for me, I have to say, is that my income doesn't stop when I go away. So I travel quite a lot now. I travel for expansion of my own business, and I also travel for, with my duties to EXP, my giving back and growing EXP, and, just collaboration and being part of the leadership of EXP. I travel to America regularly. But my business doesn't stop. My income doesn't stop while I'm away. I can conduct business anywhere. It doesn't stop. I'm not being, I'm not, you take a holiday, and we're just coming into the summer holidays here. It's a couple of weeks out to Christmas, and there are going to be people that are going to have an actual gap in their business. They are, because their business is set up on a cycle, whereas, under the EXP model, businesses carries on. It doesn't matter if, so long as people are transacting in real estate, my income doesn't stop.
And people are always transacting in real estate.
People are always transacting in real estate. It's my income isn't solely, based on my level of transactions. It's about the team and how the team are going, and it's about, having an abundant mindset and having knowledge and really playing the infinite game.
And a sense of belonging.
And a sense of belonging.
Real, true belonging.
Because we're all in this. We all own it. It's ours. EXP is ours. That's where the pros go to grow.
Where the pros, like Jazz, go to grow. Thank you so much, Jazz. I really appreciate it. I'm really looking forward to your business planning session tomorrow. I think it's going to be super busy.
Yeah.